Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com. Your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
We are loaded for bear. What a monstrous show. Thanks for joining us. Do want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and the like. We like that because then we're able to bring you more content. We were doing some analytical research, and Amanda pointed this out to me because she's smarter than me, and that was that 80% of our listeners are not subscribed. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. She put it on there for a reason. Amanda is the brains behind our YouTube page. Good morning, Amanda LaFratta. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
I'm well. You're on the road visiting some family. I love it.
I know. I'm excited. I have a new nephew, so he's the only one I have, and he's 3 months, and so it's been a long time. I got to see him at 2 months, and I was here when he was born, but I feel like I need a month, every month I need to make a stop into Nashville. So
I will never have any nieces and nephews because I'm an only child and my wife's an only child. How strange is that?
That's not very strange, Dave. I can tell you're an only child.
No, me, but Shanda.
No, Shanda's great. So.
Right. I definitely am classic only child. There's no better example. But no, she is an only child as well. So we have no nieces and nephews and never will. It's weird.
Yeah, but you have kids, so it's different. I don't have
kids.
That's
true. That is true. And it is kind of like a pinky toe. So I'm missing my right pinky toe. You really don't need it.
Why do you tell everybody that all the time?
I don't know. Because I get a 10% discount on shoes and 10% discount on pedicures. Anyway, a huge show on tap. Josh Ward with the Sports Animal will join us. Also, we will get to John Adams of the Knoxville News Sentinel. So we're excited about that, as it is definitely a big show on tap. We'll start with headlines now, as headlines today are brought to you by our friends at Bassey Lawn and Garden. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Bassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland, Tennessee. I don't care if you're in Knoxville, Chattanooga, where you are. They are your home for industrial and commercial mowers. They are your home for residential mowers, edgers, and trimmers. Man alive, it's worth the drive. Toro, count on it. All right, so let's get to some headlines. Right now, the starting lineup, we start the show with, what we talked about yesterday on offthehooksports.com. In case you didn't check it out, Hendon Hooker should be better this year than last year for a number of reasons. Second in the system. We've talked about all that. However, Hooker, I believe, based off some people I've been told, and we wrote about this on offthehooksports.com, will be more comfortable. That some of those errant passes, because he was more accurate than Joe Milton, Amanda, but there were some that floated the way you're like, whoa, red flag, that a lot of those situations came from being uncertain in the pocket, and Tennessee gave up more sacks than anybody per game in the SEC last year. So that's essentially the angle I took. So by default, if he shows up and he's the exact same player, which he'll probably be better than he was last year, but by default, if he shows up and he's the same player, he should actually be better.
Yeah, I mean, confidence is key when it comes to this position. Like, if you're a quarterback and you don't have confidence, you're not going to be able to do, you're not going to be able to do the things that you should be able to do. And so even if you have the physical talent, if you lack that confidence, you're not going to be able to perform. And I think that's what he needed. So he should be really good this year, considering that he has that confidence, I believe.
All right, Cooper Mays, our guy, was at the podium yesterday, and he is absolutely beloved, and we love having him on a weekly basis on the Vol Report, and that is brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. So Cooper's awesome, and his coach didn't even hold back on the praise. Says that's one of the toughest guys and throws his body around and is super physical, and he's a guy also that is, quote, freaking smart. way smarter than his coach. So kudos to Cooper. And if you look at him, his body frame probably should be about 240. I'd say he'll probably be about a 240-pound man when he loses some of his football weight. And if you look at overachievers, okay, guys that physically have X amount of ability and then what you got out of them, I will challenge you to find anybody that has been more of an overachiever than Cooper Mays, because he's locked down the center position, which in my opinion is the second toughest position on the offense behind quarterback. I love working with Cooper Mays, and I love the fact that his coaches love him as well.
Yeah, I think just from the interviews that I've seen with him, he seems like a very stand-up kid, but he also has his brother to go after. So I feel like if it's siblings, siblings are typically very competitive. So that might be a little bit of what drives him to do what he's doing. So,
well, it's funny you bring that up. He said, "No, I wasn't much of a leader last year." He goes, "Cade's there." I mean, how can you be a leader when your older brother is in the same position group, not just on the same team, but in the same position group? So he said that he started being more of a leader in December. I would encourage people to go to the YouTube page and listen to some of the interviews if you haven't had a chance with Cooper Mayfield. So he took on more of a leadership in December, and then in January, when Cade, his brother, was completely gone, he was considered a leader of this team, and he considered himself a leader, which is the first step to being a leader. He goes to Rwanda. We talked about that. He shared with us the fact that Hendon Hooker got 4 of his teeth knocked out. Somebody tried to steal that from us, that bit of information, and Amanda's jumped all over him on social. It was like an attack dog. She put together the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Twitters and just attacked this poor person. But
I didn't attack them.
You attacked them. Maybe I didn't.
No, I just wanted people to know where it originally came from, because that was the original content. And so people need to know where that comes from. It's not like ESPN. I mean, we're not ESPN. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they better watch out.
Like, they should, credit should be given to where it's due. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. And so somebody saw that, and I wanted to go Jon Stewart on him as he screamed at a congressman yesterday that he's a bleeping troll right in front of him. But I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I'll
Who
let
did
you
he
look
scream at?
I'm not getting into politics. I don't do that. I just thought I do like conflict, so I thought that was entertaining. But I don't know. You do or don't?
I don't.
Fair, but it was an entertaining video. By the way, entertaining video, Brian Harsin, somebody released that he is going back and forth. He goes, Auburn football, let's roll. Auburn football, let's go. Auburn football, let's go. Okay, so Amanda and I do this teaser video after every show. If I picked that out, or she picked that out and wanted, because if we did a bad one and sent that out to everybody, it would mean that we don't like each other. Okay, so that's what it means when some Auburn staffer sends that out about Brian Harsin. I say this again, with Josh Heupel, I have not heard one thing behind the scenes that he is not beloved by his players and teammates. I heard those things early into each of the last 3 coaches' tenures. But I go back to the Harsin thing, Amanda, that if I see that and I'm Brian Harsin, hurt's probably not the right word. Mad's probably not the right word, but getting my resume together is what I'm going to do this afternoon.
Yeah, he's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Oh, wow. Do wives get a book? And is that the first chapter? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That's a parent line. That's a parent line. That's not a wife line. So I did use that yesterday on David.
Well, it's also in my house. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. So we do get some of that in the Hooker household. So Cooper Mays also, I thought, with the quote of the day, I wasn't raised to quit, basically saying that if you don't want me on the football field because I'm hurt, then you're going to have to come pull me off of it. So he suffered an ankle injury in the first game last year, and he said it never healed up. So whatever Cooper Mays you get, you're going to get a better one this year, assuming he stays healthy, and he's hit the weight room as hard as anybody. So I believe that will be the case. The interesting battle to watch is Tennessee football has the day off, and they'll practice in full pads tomorrow and a scrimmage, the first scrimmage on Saturday. So the interesting thing to watch is what comes out of that Saturday scrimmage in terms of who plays tackle, because right now they would like to have Darnell Wright move to right tackle. He's proven he could play right and left. He told the coaches that's fine, which, Amanda, left tackle is more valuable in the NFL size, and he's a projected first-round pick. But he did tell the coaches that's fine. He'll move to right tackle. And basically, that allows – you wouldn't typically do this, and I don't mean this as a slam at Darnell Wright, but you get somebody with probably some more upside and definitely some more eligibility at left tackle.
Yeah, I think it's really good of him to say, yeah, I'll move to right tackle. If that's what the team needs, that's what the team needs. And he's putting, he's going to go to the NFL this year or next season. You know what I'm saying? And he's putting the team first. And I think that's a very good sign of who you want on your team. You want a team first kind of guy and not a me first kind of guy. So if I were a Tennessee fan, I'd be pretty excited about having him there.
Coaches have been pretty honest, Amanda, way more honest than I'm used to, and that is sharing a time frame. Coaches won't give you a time frame a lot of the times when it comes to personnel because they don't want to be tied to it, because the implication is something went wrong because you didn't hit that time frame. At least that's how they viewed it. So, but they said after scrimmage 1, which will be Tuesday, they said this publicly, after scrimmage 1, that they will have a good idea who their starting 5 is going to be. And after scrimmage 2, they should absolutely know who their starting 5 is going to be. So you're looking at probably 11 or 12 days that you have a good idea who this. Now you return 4 or 5, so it's not rocket surgery or brain science.
Rocket surgery?
Yeah,
Okay.
or brain science.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm quippy, but I think it'll be nice for Tennessee to be settled at the position midway through camp. I've seen these battles go right up until not the Friday of game week, but the Friday before game week. That's never a good sign. That is not a sign that you have so much depth that you can't decide who to play. That's a sign that you got a few donkeys in the group. So I don't think that's the situation now, Amanda.
No, and maybe this is the coaches doing, coach things and saying that, okay, well, we have this much time and we'll figure out, who's going to be there, to try to motivate the players to give them everything that they have. And they're not going ahead and naming, okay, these are our starters here, so that other players don't get lax in practice or in camp or what have you. And they may already have their starters in their minds, but are waiting to see if somebody can come up and do more than what they thought that they were capable of doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were going to see if somebody flashes special, so to speak. Yeah. And if they do that, then at left tackle especially, then they're all good to go. So did want to mention the Raiders. This slipped up on me. When did they move the Hall of Fame game to Thursday instead of Saturday night? The Hall of Fame game last night, 27-11, the Raiders over the Jaguars. Did you have any idea that game was on?
I knew it was on, but I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it because I watched some of the preseason games, but one year, I think it was when the Browns lost, like they went completely defeated that season.
Oh, 0-16.
I think they were like 4-0 in preseason games. So it makes no difference. Like preseason tells you absolutely nothing. And it's not worth watching. You're spoiling your appetite. It's like waiting for a huge dinner to arrive and you're going to fill up on the bread beforehand. No.
I watched the first quarter. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I watched the first quarter of the next to last game of the preseason, which is, I think, essentially the last dress rehearsal. So the very last game is all scrubs and guys trying to make the team. the next to last game, usually an organization will play their starters for a quarter, maybe even a half, usually a quarter. So I watch that, but you're right. Other than that, keep the bread. I'll wait for the main course. And then a Russian court has sentenced Brittany Griner to 9 years in prison for having cannabis. Amanda, I know that you're more attuned to politics than me, but this really, politically, however you want to put it, is just posturing. There's a certain person that they want to trade for Brittany Griner, so they could say 90 years or 9 months. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, they want to trade that. But if you're Brittany Griner, you're Brittany Griner's family. You've got to be scared. It's a terrible situation.
Well, what's really sad about this whole situation is that number one, it's a political move by Russia, and it's a good one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good one. For them, their benefits, it's a good play. What's sad is that there is another American over there who has been in prison, and I think he's like a teacher or something. He's a no name, obviously, but no one is trying to get him. No. He's been over there, and no one cares that he's over there. It's just, if it's a star, it's all about virtue signaling, and it's all about people wanting to think that our government is doing everything they can for the American people or what have you. But it's just because she's a name, and it's just because people have brought attention to it is the reason why it's a big deal. Like, he's been sitting over there for God knows how long, and no one said anything. He's an American citizen, exactly like she is, but no one cares.
Well, I have no problem with them lobbying to get people back, but no. I'm not gonna. If it were me, I wouldn't trade people that could have been involved in 9/11 back to them to get Brittany Griner or anybody else. I wonder a little bit if Russia thinks that they have more in Brittany Griner than what they truly have. I mean, she was one that protested the flag. I haven't heard a backlash of people saying, go save Brittany Griner. I've heard some of that, but it hasn't been over the top. So if this were, I'm trying to think of a really likable international figure, if this were like a Michael Phelps, because he liked to hit the bong every once in a while, then this would be the front page story in his prime, would be the front page story on ESPN each and every day. Then they might get 3 former terrorists. I don't know. It's time for Talking Cruton. And Talking Cruton today is brought to you by our friends at Honeybee Coffee. Tell us about Honeybee Coffee. It's the best beans that you can get. And Amanda's a great human being. She'll tell you all about it.
I can't.
You smile every time when I tell that. You smile every time.
It's so terrible, but it's really good coffee. It's a really good coffee. I love it. A veteran owned, which I love that. I'm an advocate of veteran owned businesses. Great coffee, great people, great atmosphere. Go with the bees and not the bucks.
Go with the bees, not the bucks. Talking Cruton now, as the Vols, yes, are still recruiting college football players, even with preseason camp going on.
Talking Cruton.
Am I right or am I right or am I right?
Who's on Tennessee's board? The names you need to know, exclusively on Off the Hook Sports with Dave Hooker.
This, according to VolQuest.com, Jordan Matthews announced on Thursday he will be committing on August the 15th down to Michigan, Tennessee, and Texas. We'll see where he ends up going on the 15th. I just hit my funny bone. I hate that. Jordan Matthews is a corner out of Baton Rouge. So I'd say we'll get a pretty good insight from Chris Landry as far as where he might be going. Might have an update for you by the end of the day, but certainly next week. And we're here every day at 9 o'clock. If you're tuning in or listening recorded, you got to hit that subscribe and like button right now so that we can bring you more content about the Vols and about the SEC. So some more Cruton news as we talk Cruton. Ricky Gibson is another one planning on doing something on the 18th. And according to VolQuest, they believe that Georgia is the team to beat. So it will be very interesting to see who shakes out. But really, with the recruiting calendar the way it is and the way it was to some extent, you have to, Amanda, take time off to actually prepare for the season, which is what Tennessee is doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're preparing for the season, but also, didn't they just hire someone to be a recruiter, like just recently? So I think there's always going to be somebody who's not coaching or, who's not doing any of that kind of on the field stuff that's going to be actively going after people or
Oh, yeah.
actively looking for people. And I think that's always a good thing because you need to focus on now, but you also need to focus on 4 years from now and everything in between. So I think it's a good thing for this to happen.
You have some limitations about how many people you can send out, but it's so loosey-goosey and the NCAA doesn't enforce anything that you could have 20 people on your staff that did nothing but recruiting. Now, they wouldn't be able to be on the field coaching, but this is something in some sense that Nick Saban started, and that was having the analyst. Now, in the analyst case, he was doing it. He grinds in recruiting. He loves it. He didn't need any help in recruiting whatsoever. However, he needed help in coaching because everybody does. If you just look at the numbers, 100 people, including the walk-ons, 85 scholarship players, and you're limited to 9 assistant coaches. In the NFL, you have a coach per every, 3 players? You have about 15 coaches and 52 on the active roster.
Mhm.
Nick Saban was tremendously ahead of the curve in hiring these offensive assistants. And I know they're not allowed to be on the practice field, Amanda, but they're on the practice field. I can remember being at Tennessee one time and one of these offensive assistants, when they asked the media to leave after the stretching session that's oh so important, that I saw one of them running out on the field and I knew him. He goes, "You didn't see me." And I said, "I know." And so that's what they do. When the media goes, they run on the field, and then you have extra coaches. Saban started it. Technically, maybe it's cheating if you run them out there. It is, but if you don't get caught, you win championship, who cares?
Is it really, though? I mean, is it really? If everyone's doing it, is it really cheating? You know what I'm saying? Cheating, I think. I mean, is it against the rules? Yes. But if everyone's doing it, I don't feel, and not saying that because of Saban, saying that because of any school, like the Jeremy Pruitt thing. I think it's stupid because everyone's doing it and everybody knows everyone's doing it. So it's not really cheating because you don't have an advantage because everybody's doing it.
Well, it's not cheating, but you have an advantage. This goes back to your argument about you don't want the smaller schools to suffer. I would argue they're already suffering because at Alabama, you have the money to have 20 analysts. You don't have that at other schools. If they're running onto the field, that's cheating. And let me digress for just a second to make sure I said what I meant to say. I don't know that Alabama's assistants ran out on the field. Okay. Maybe they just looked at tape the whole time and broke down tape. That's quite possible. I don't know that. I do know that under a guy named Butch, that some analysts, maybe a former player, ran out on the field and did some coaching. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's Talking Cruton, brought to you by Honeybee, a conversation with Josh Ward that we had about the top incoming player. And he went with Justin Williams-Thomas. He went with the true freshman over some of these transfers. And I was a little bit surprised. That story is on offthehooksports.com. Here is Josh Ward and his thoughts about the Buzzwell Beer Company.
You continue to find issues and you feel like, okay, we're not getting it fixed. Remember, they went to James Banks and said, we'll just see what we can figure out with this talented freshman. That's a potential situation if you have to go to the number 2, who is Joe Milton, and the number 2 cannot.
Clarify real quick. This is Josh Ward talking about a potential backup quarterback not being Joe Milton. My apologies.
You continue to find issues and you feel like, okay, we're not getting it fixed. Remember, they went to James Banks and said, we'll just see what we can figure out with this talented freshman. That's a potential situation if you have to go to the number 2, who is Joe Milton, and the number 2 cannot deliver.
Yeah, maybe you could throw a squirrel back there, but I don't think
For a couple plays, I don't know. 170 pounder that's running at an SEC defense. Be careful how many times you do that.
If you think that guy's 170 pounds and you think I'm 170 pounds. So
Hey, I'm 5'11" in the program, Dave, so don't question my numbers.
That's right. I've got you at 6 foot.
Okay.
So 6 even 0.02. It's funny you bring up CJ League. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but they both have the herky jerky release, like a boxy sort of release that, to me, it's like a free throw shooter. We don't talk big Ben Simmons or any of the guys that just can't shoot. You got to tear that down and start it anew. I don't even know that can happen in a year.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there's a coaching staff that deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's this one, right? Because essentially everybody else has worked out. But that's why a year ago there was the hype around Milton, because his physical attributes were obvious.
Yep. Talking about Joe Milton and his herky-jerky boxy release. Can you fix that? So, Amanda, if I made you bet a paycheck on it, would you say that that can be fixed? He's a competent backup, or that if something happens to Hendon Hooker, Tennessee could turn elsewhere, such as Tavon Jackson?
What are my odds?
I was just going to say 50-50. You pick.
So if it's a pick 'em, then I would not bet my paycheck on it.
Right, but you have to. If
I
you
have to bet my paycheck.
If you have to.
I will bet no.
You would bet that it would not be Milton would be the main backup?
Yes, I would bet that it's going to be somebody else. That I think you said, can you fix his release?
Oh, no. Then you would say no. I don't think you can either, unless I see something a lot different sometime soon. It's time for today's tough question. Today's tough question brought to you by the Mattress Place, 22 years on Chapman Highway. It is veteran owned as well, and the reviews to Google and everything are absolutely through the roof. So today's tough question, Amanda, what do we have?
So I'm thinking, which incoming player are you most excited to watch this season?
That's really creepy, because I was thinking that as well this morning.
Weird.
And I don't like Amanda gets mad at me, and she threatens to pull out a stick and beat me with it if I suggest today's tough question. So
I do not threaten you with a stick.
No, you don't. Okay, so you can post, if you're listening on the Twitter or you're listening on YouTube, you can go ahead and post your thoughts on who are you most excited to see this season, and we will certainly read your answers. So, do you have 4 at this point? Are we going all newcomers, or are we going just anybody?
Incoming player.
Okay.
Incoming player. So transfer, or a freshman, whoever you pick there. Not anyone that's been on the team. Just incoming players.
But they could be there in spring, right?
Yeah, obviously. Talking about this season, this is the first season they're going to play.
Okay, so do you have a rough idea for the 4, or shall I contribute? Or
you can contribute. I have 2 right now that I'm good with.
Okay, so
and
if
that's
anybody,
Justin Williams-Thomas,
and
Brew McCoy.
And Brew McCoy. Okay, let me see if I can help fill out, because I'm going to go with Brew McCoy, because I think physically he's just so imposing if he's able to play. I think now everybody runs 3 and 4 and 5 wides now, so this is not a huge monstrous statement like Jerry Rice and John Taylor, but I think Tennessee would have the most physically imposing duo of receivers in the entire nation with him and Cedric Tillman. So I'll go Brew McCoy personally.
Okay.
And that's why, because I think that would be pretty impressive. And Tennessee hasn't had a group of receivers since they were known as wide receiver U like that. They haven't had a pair like that. If he lives up. Now, as far as lives up to the billing. Now, as far as the other guys, Amanda, some newcomers that I would suggest as far as transfers, because Tennessee certainly needs them. We could go a number of different directions as far as where you wanted to go. But certainly Andre Turrentine, cornerback from Ohio State would be there. I don't know that people get excited about seeing a cornerback, but it changes the way you can play defense. I mean, you can nix that one or not. The other one that you might want to nix because it's not an exciting position would be the defensive back Wesley Walker, who transferred from Georgia Tech. He might play a lot. Jackson Hanna, linebacker from Nebraska, might play a lot. But those aren't exciting positions. So you tell me what you think is the best direction to go here. We got Brew, we got Justin Williams-Thomas, JWT, as I like to call him, JWT Jr. the third.
Okay, calm down.
Ensign.
I don't like Turrentine, however you say it.
Corner's not exciting. If he does his job, we never see him.
It's not exciting. But what about Squirrel White?
Love Squirrel.
I'm gonna put Squirrel in there, and Wesley Walker, I think, is gonna be the 4.
Okay, I like it. If you want to do a 4 and do other, this might be the time to do it. That's all I'm saying. Or do you like Walker?
I mean, we could do other. I just feel like that's.
Do Walker. I love Walker. Now, out of that 4, what are you voting on?
Squirrel. He's supposed to be really good, and apparently he's shown a lot in like preseason. But also, it's not just a Tennessee thing for him. It's like a national. People are talking about him nationally. So his name's Squirrel. Like, how do you not like a guy named Squirrel?
I know. Here I'm stuck with Hooker.
Well,
Today's tough question brought to you by Vols Automotive Group. Vols Automotive Group on Callahan is your home for integrity when it comes to car buying. And they have the service department to take care of you. They have a selection that is unmatched. And it's all about integrity. They want, they need, and they appreciate your business. Back in 2 minutes off Doug Sports.
Gary Viles here. I want to personally invite you to North Knoxville's newest sports bar and restaurant.
It's Big Orange Phillies, located in Black Oak Center. And yes, folks, it's happening in Halls. Big Orange Phillies offers family-friendly environment with homemade meals and the best deli-style subs around. Billiards, darts, jukebox, shuffleboard, and cornhole, and a full bar. We also offer valet parking on weekends and during special events. We even have a covered back patio. It's happening at Big Orange Phillies. We want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
This is Al's Nest Barbecue Supply, so come on in and see all the different rubs and sauces we have, plus a complete line of Green Mountain grills. Don't be overwhelmed. We have plenty of help so you can produce the best barbecue and amaze your family and friends. Barbecue is America's food. We'll do what we can to bring you all the best products. We're Al's Nest Barbecue, where Chattanooga goes to grill.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
All right, coming up, we will be joined by the one, the only Coach Lance. We'll do a little message board bingo, which I've been dominating. I'm pretty proud to say that. Would you agree with that?
No.
I've been doing okay. So explain.
No, you have not.
Explain how the game works again as we get Coach Lance linked up, because this is a lot of fun. Something we're going to do every Friday, and we're excited about that.
Yes, I don't know where you got the bingo part, because there's no cards, there's no spaces, there's no B10. I mean, there's none of that. So I don't know where bingo came from. This is just like message board quotes that you guess the either.
Yeah, well, you
what
say you
fan
get
base
something
is.
right. You say bingo.
It's terrible.
So that's a perfect name, message board bingo.
No.
So message board fans around the SEC and the nation will tell us ultimately who are the worst fans, because some of the posts are pretty bizarro. Amanda,
Who do you think is the worst so far fan base out of reading these? I have two that are kind of tied.
just as a whole, like
Mhm.
since we've been doing it?
Yeah.
Well, since we've been doing it, I've been really pretty blown away by how much vitriol's in the Baton Rouge area by LSU. I think you've read a couple of LSU people who are really mad, and then Ohio State, I would say, are the two that would.
I have Ohio
What are
State and
yours?
Texas. Ohio State and Texas A&M. I think.
Oh, you
those
finished with
are-
A&M. I was like, yeah, Texas should be excited. So yeah, A&M definitely. I mean, what was the joke yesterday that you posted that was why is it National Aggies Day? Because it's 8/4.
Yes, I
August
love that
the
joke.
8th. That was really good, but I
Enjoyed it.
gosh, I gotta be honest with you. If I'm A&M, I think it might be best just to chill out for a second and not try to continually make noise and keep Nick Saban motivated. I don't know if he pays attention to that sort of stuff, but I think it probably motivates anybody to some extent. And the fact that you have a situation in which a coach is kind of calling you out publicly, and then you respond as Jimbo Fisher did, it was just some insano type of, off the cuff, just strange, not well thought out response. Does not make Jimbo Fisher or Texas A&M look good whatsoever.
No, and then you have a staff member, somebody recording a staff member telling recruits that you're going to get paid by these people up here. If you look up in the stands, the people in the suites, they're going to be paying you to go to school here. That just, oh man, that just like rained down on Jimbo Fisher. If I were him and A&M and their whole athletic department, I would be writing a formal letter to apologize to Nick Saban for saying that, because you just had a staffer on campus telling kids that they're getting paid by boosters. So
let's get to message board bingo, brought to you by Big Orange Phillies in downtown Halls. It is on Maynardville Pike. It's a great place if you're in North Knoxville or you're up in Maynardville. It's easy, it's close, it's a great place for you to hang out in North Knoxville. And Big Orange Phillies is family friendly. Big Orange Phillies also has great things to do like billiards, darts, and the food is incredibly fantastic. So we'll try another bit of music. As I think I expressed yesterday for those listening, that our trademark for copyrighted music, or our copyrighted music, is still under review. So we're getting there. So instead, we're just going to try out a little bit of this, and we bring in Coach Lance, who already, yes, is rocking it.
Into it.
Yes,
No.
he's rocking it with the glasses.
I'm losing my hope for humanity.
I'm feeling good, Dave.
Yeah, I know you are. It's because you're undefeated.
You know, every day is a good day when you're undefeated.
Where are you
now? How you guys doing? Amanda LaFratta, how you doing?
Frittata. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Sorry.
What's with the sunglasses? It's like you're doing your best Urban Meyer impression when the wife's not around.
Like dark mode. I'm in dark mode today.
Oh yeah, you're sporting the coach, or I'm sorry, I can't see it, and it's Lance Dance. Okay.
Lance Dance.
Lance
So,
Hansen. I got it.
and I've been watching Top Gun. So
that's pretty much that's why you're wearing the Wayfarers.
the Aviators, yeah.
Aviators?
Keep that going. Yeah.
My son actually, based off the second movie, wants a pair of Aviators. It's like anything Tom Cruise touches just turns to gold. Maybe we should be Scientologists, but they're crazy. All right, let's go ahead and get to message board bingo. I mean, things might work for us financially, but I don't feel good about the afterlife in that scenario.
Me neither. I feel like eternally we could be in a bad place if we go down the Scientology road a little too far. No offense to any Scientologists, but
No, they might be listening. But I feel
not
like
a good idea.
Now, if I were in the movie profession, maybe I'd do it and then do a last second switcheroo on my deathbed.
That's all you need. Last second switcheroo. Lord, thank you. I'm ready. Now we're good.
Gone from Scientologist to Christian. All right.
Amanda's having a cow up there. She's like, I couldn't even focus when I first got on here because that size of that rock on your finger is like, that's legit.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a big
Thank
rock.
you.
So Amanda also, she gets distracted by the music. She loves the down tempo music is what it's called officially, as it does just absolutely ring of message board bingo. So let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see who's the first three as we point out dumb fans on message boards, which Tennessee doesn't have any. I'll be the first to point that out. I've never seen one. Have you?
No, they're all brilliant.
Yes. Okay. All right. So read us one, Amanda, and it's me versus Coach Lance. Let's see who wins this thing and can get the most correct.
All right. So I'm going to read just a snippet of this one because you just know
I know there's no space or character limit on message boards. Which
no,
there
there's
should
not.
be.
It's unfortunate. So one of the proudest moments of my life was beating the hell out of a Seminole fan after he wanted to talk some crap and start some crap with me. I wish you guys could have been there to see it. I know I can't be the only one who's had to put a jealous fan in their place once or twice.
I'm going to go. Do you want to go first? Or guess first.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Guess first. Yeah. I'm going Florida.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I will go. Okay, Florida State. I'll go Clemson because the ACC, but I think it's probably Florida.
One for Coach Lance. It was Florida.
Yeah, it's because he got to go first. I would have gotten that one. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Go for it.
Is this all SEC fan base or is it nationwide fan base that we're doing?
No, it's nationwide.
Okay.
If we excluded Ohio State, we would be doing a disservice to our listeners because they are the worst and they can't drive. Yeah, and what the hell is a Buckeye? Amanda, what is next?
All right, so this one's a little long-winded, so I apologize. All right, so OTV is doing the absolute best they can, but that group is made up of accountants, bankers, and a foot doctor.
Wait, what was the first thing you said? What was the acronym you said first? I didn't hear it.
OTV.
What's that?
OTV.
Don't you look it up. Don't look it up.
I'm not. My hands are OTV. Okay, as V as
OTV is doing the absolute best they can, but that group is made up of accountants.
Is that old dirty? No.
Okay. Dear God. Okay, bankers and a foot doctor. That's different than corporate executives and business owners that run NIL at these other places. Meanwhile, our big business donors are crying because Yella/Lanier want Muschamp or Freeze. Harbert still wants Gus and thinks if he had more time to mentor.
I'm going first. This is Auburn.
Can I also guess Auburn?
Yes, you can.
Guess Florida.
Yeah, so
Coach,
no, Coach Lance is leading 2-1.
Oh, wait a second. I wanted to go Florida.
Well, no. I mean, no.
Okay, fine. 2-1.
You made up the rules. That's not my fault.
Okay, all right.
You said the guest that is most handsome goes first, so obviously I go first.
And the guest.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guest part. Yeah.
It's kind of
obvious.
All right, what have we got? What's next?
All right. So it says, yet the Big Ten already makes more money than the SEC, despite not being near its equal in the field. This is a reply to that. Just watched App State play the Ragin' Cajuns. Unfortunately, this level of competition looks like our future.
Okay.
This one's hard.
I think the first one was Ohio State. I think the first one was
No,
Ohio
it's in the
State.
same message board.
Oh, okay. Same message board. All right. Coach Lance gets to go first because I have no idea.
Well, I was going to say Ohio State, but I'm not going to say it now because I think you might say it. So I'm going to say.
No, I'm not going to say Ohio State.
You're not?
No.
I'm going to say Ohio State. I feel like that's a Ohio State fan.
I'm going to go with the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
It's Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
What are they doing talking about football?
I know. They think they're gonna end up playing App State or the Ragin' Cajuns.
They need to be engineering something. All right. So
you're going to lose App State anyway.
Can we do one more?
We can do one
more? Okay.
We can do one more, especially for those Georgia Tech engineers that are mad sitting in traffic in Atlanta that should have made better college decisions. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So honestly, I don't think we can compete with these stakes. LOL. We should be the New York Yankees of college football since we're surrounded by so much money, but starting caring about our athletics program too late in the late 90s, which means we lost out on decades of winning, building up tradition, donation, having fans, goodwill, etc.
Well, the Yankees are the most tradition-laden franchise in professional sports. So
that's why it makes it good.
I know. I'm going to go at, I think I may have this one. It's a long shot. Is it Coach Lance's turn?
Isn't Coach Lance's turn to go?
No,
okay, go Coach Lance.
Yes.
No, it's your turn. You go.
Yeah. I'm going to go with what this was said by a Tennessee football player in 1988 before they lost to this team. And it's, what is a Rutger? What is a Rutger? There's a lot of money around New Jersey. So I'm going with Rutgers. What is a Rutger? That's still my favorite quote of all time. It ranks right up there with, I'm really athletic. I'm amphibious. Which that's not, it's ambidextrous. that has been said.
Unless you're a swimmer, then I guess that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you can breathe underwater. All right, so, all right, what do you got? Who said that, Coach Lance?
Could that be a Texas fan?
No, it is Rutgers, you cheater.
I swear I did not cheat.
You had to have cheated. No one could have gotten that.
I swear on my children's eyeballs.
On your children's eyeballs?
I did not even. Yeah, that is weird. My grandmother used to say that.
Do they wear glasses?
They do, so maybe it's not a big loss.
Problems. Yeah. So that's not a big. That's not.
That is the best ever, and I swear I didn't cheat, Amanda. I swear, no. I swear, the integrity of message board bingo will not be compromised. I am no Pete Rose here.
Okay, Pete Rose just bet.
Oh no, I knew.
That's all he did. He didn't cheat. He just bet on it.
Pete Rose, yeah. We should go into that conversation right now.
It's not. All right, Coach Lance. So, Tennessee full pads tomorrow. What do you tell your team when the first day in full pads and a scrimmage is pressing, which a scrimmage will be Tuesday? I'll go ahead and drop the weird music. But, Coach Lance, what do you tell your team? How do you get them to 160-something and 0?
Yeah, well, first day of full pads, we have a rule that whoever's standing at the end of practice gets to start in the scrimmage. So, essentially, it is sort of like a gladiator style. Last player standing get to play. So that whoever's on the field, 22 that are left that are not injured or are hurting or crying, get to start. That's my rule. Of course, I coach middle school, but that's what I would do.
I like it. So in middle school, last child standing.
Yeah. I've had some parent complaints, but you know what? You don't get to undefeated without making a few people mad, including some stupid parents. So
no one's complaining if you're winning. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, 15 straight district titles, Dave. okay, is what I've brought to this middle school. So Coach Heupel and the rest of them, that's what I would do. I'd say, look, we're going full pads. You're gonna have to start hitting some people, because I don't want to see no defensive backs diving at people's feet and legs like they're like trying to tackle them with their back or their shoulder. No, we're gonna go head on. We're gonna hit. All right. I want players to get. I want some penalties for targeting. That's what I want.
During
I was
practice.
wondering. I was
During
wondering
practice.
how that was.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So
you're a big fan of cut and chop blocking, targeting, and all of that during practice.
All of it, because guess what? You can dial that back later, but let's start by knocking each other's heads off, and then we'll dial it back if we need to. What you can't do is start being a bunch of wussies, and then when it gets to game time, be like, oh, we're going to step up now and actually hit somebody. No, you're going to hit people and knock the crap out of them during practice, and then when the game time comes, then you're ready.
Let's start with brain injuries, and we'll go from there. Is basically what you're saying.
If your brain can't handle it, you need to play a different sport.
Scale of 1 to 10, how great was the Rutgers pick?
Well, sir, that was a 10. I don't know how you.
I used to cover that area, and I would have gone with them or Maryland. And the reason I say Maryland is because they got Under Armour money. So I know that little group of schools up there. So I almost went with Maryland, but I knew it was either Rutgers or Maryland, because both of them think they have a lot of money with boosters, but neither really do, because people that go to Rutgers don't care about football.
No.
And Under Armour ain't Nike.
Isn't Elon Musk, though? Isn't he a Rutgers grad?
Is he?
I think he is. Well,
we'll tell you after this.
There was one message board that had him like, come save us.
Come save us.
And by the way, I do want to point this out, Lance, Coach Lance, and get your thoughts. So Amanda LaFratta is on the road traveling today, visiting some family. So I don't know who all can hear this, but Vol Steak now has a new nickname for her, and it's Hottie LaFratta.
Who?
Woo!
Well, yeah, it's a pretty good nickname. Hottie LaFratta. Hottie LaFratta.
No, I
Vol
got
Steak.
that, but
Vol Steak is his name.
Ball Steak. Oh,
Yes.
I thought you said Ball State, and I was like,
I thought you said Ball State too, and I was like, well, okay, they're already.
All right, then.
I mean,
I'll be a distraction first game.
Vol, as in the volunteers. Vol Steak says, Hottie LaFratta is your new nickname. Should that stick or not, Lance? Coach Lance.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it has stuck.
I will only refer to you as Hottie LaFratta. It's ironic because that was actually my nickname in high school, so I'm not sure how that worked out. But
that is incredibly odd, since your name's not LaFratta at all.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because you are extremely hot. So I'll give you that.
You're talking to me, or talking to?
No.
Yes, no, I know.
Talking.
Yes, I am incredibly hot, but Hottie LaFratta, that is that's pretty good. So Amanda, well, I'm
Touche, Vol Steak. Touche. That's the best one I've heard. Yes. Thank you.
And someone just
what a great name.
Yes, he's salty and tender at the same time. All right, have a fantastic day. How do we follow your work, Coach Lance? And we're excited to see, as long as you're still good with it, we're going to visit every Friday throughout football season. So we're excited.
Every Friday, it's going to be the best day of the week for America. And yes, I am at Coach Lance UT. So that's my handle. That's my name, at Coach Lance UT. So follow me. I got some great videos coming out in the next few weeks. You guys are not going to want to miss it.
I'm excited.
I'm going to have a former Vol running back and Vol for life, Jay Graham, is going to be a special guest in my one of my videos coming up. So like I'm going to kind of teach him a few things about how to coach and about how to be a running back, because I know about that. So it should be interesting.
Sure. Yeah. Stay behind your pads, get low, 3 points, all security. Yeah, I got all that. So yeah, I can help if you want. Do you have an opening on your staff?
Oh yeah. We do. Most of my guys have gone on to be head coaches elsewhere. I'm kind of like the Nick Saban of middle school. I don't like to say that because I don't really like Nick Saban. But as far as winning goes, I'm like him, except better because I've never lost. So okay, Nick Saban.
It's true.
Screw you. You want to be like me.
Yeah, Vol Steak saying Coach Lance is the man, and he indeed is. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to visiting with you each and every week. So
It's a pleasure. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go get in my jet. I'll see you later.
yes, he has got the aviators on, and he's going to fly around like Tom Cruise. So
All right.
thanks to Pedigo. Pedigo electric bikes in downtown Chattanooga is a great way to get around downtown, not have to worry about parking, and just enjoy yourself. All you got to do is lock up the bike. My son and I did it out in San Diego. We've done it in Chattanooga. It is a great time. So you can Pedigo Chattanooga. If you're planning the weekend here, that's what you need to do, is you need to rent a Pedigo bike. If you want to purchase one, great place to do it. So coming up, it'll be John Adams of the Knoxville News Sentinel, and also this day in sports history. We'll revisit today's tough question. Got a lot going on, so stay tuned. Thank you, Vol Steak. Yes, there is no question that Coach Lance is the man. With Howdy LaFratta, I just committed an HR violation. I'm Dave Hooker. More after this.
It's Gary Viles here, Viles Automotive on Callahan Drive. I've been selling cars here in East Tennessee for 27 years. In that time, I've come to realize it's not about the car. It's about you, the customer. So I'm here to take care of you just like family. Good credit, bad credit, you name it, we can get you taken care of. If we don't have it, we can find it for you. We go across the country to get any vehicle that you want. And here at Viles Automotive, we don't believe in fake numbers. We just give you great deals. And as always, we want, we need, and we appreciate your business.
Do you want to own the more that owns every job? Then get to Vassey Lawn and Garden in Cleveland and get you a Toro. I'm David Vassey, here to talk to you about Toro. With a Toro Zero Turn, you'll get more out of every minute and you'll reach the finish line faster. At Vassey's, we like to say, no matter if you're mowing 3 acres a week or 11 lawns a day, homeowners and business owners alike find confidence in equipment they can trust from top to bottom.
Vassey Lawn and Garden, Highway 60 North in Cleveland.
Man alive, it's worth the drive.
This is Steve Rain. I own the Midnight Oil and Michelin Tire Direct service station here in Ooltewah. It's not a fancy place, never has been, but it's a clean place with clean restrooms and good folks who work here. We sell gas and fix cars, nothing glamorous, but we love what we do, and we're going to keep doing it for a long time to come. There's not many real service stations left, and that's a shame. We're the guys just like the guys back in your hometown. We'll fix your tire, change your oil, and put a new set of Michelins on your car. If you want a Twinkie, you'll just have to keep on going. Thanks for the business.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare. How about we get back to today's tough question? Where are we, Amanda, on that? The poll is up and Adam, so we want to hear what you think, and I thought it was a great question by Amanda. Can you reset that for us, please?
Absolutely. So today's tough question is, which incoming Tennessee player are you most excited to watch this season? And 67% are Squirrel White. I think people like his name.
so many shirt ideas. But
Hookers
yes.
and squirrels.
Hookers and squirrels. We did have somebody that tweeted that yesterday, as I did provide them with, and if you would like a hooker shirt, there also is reportedly a player on Tennessee's football team. So you're really not buying a Dave Hooker shirt. It's up to you. Just go where you want to on that. But anyway, the shirts are available. So, but Squirrel White not only winning, but winning big. A lot of votes. He's winning 66%. Brew McCoy getting 14. Justin Williams-Thomas, the running back, that surprises me a little bit that he's only getting 9.5% of the vote. That surprises me, Amanda.
Why does that surprise you? You have a name like Squirrel White and Brew McCoy.
Oh, I'm not Yeah, I'm not surprised necessarily that Squirrel is winning, because I do think you have a great name, but I think a lot of people know Justin Williams-Thomas because he's a very talented running back, and Tennessee could use that. And I'm surprised he didn't get more consideration. And then I think, you're talking about another fan favorite from an interest standpoint, Brew McCoy. So I'm surprised Squirrel's dominating it. I really am.
I think I'm not really surprised, just because the 4 people we picked, 3 of them are transfers and 1 of them's an incoming freshman. And I feel like loyalty is a huge thing to Tennessee fans. So the fact that Squirrel White is an incoming freshman, he hasn't been anywhere else. He's wanted to play for Tennessee. This is where he's at. I think that makes a difference to Volunteer fans. It just does.
That's fair. Difference in your barbecue will be Owl's Nest Barbecue. They've got all the wood chips. They've got everything you need. Owl's Nest Barbecue is right there. Why are you shaking your head? Because of my fantastic segues?
Yes, I am in awe of those. How do you even do that? Because I don't even know what I'm going to say. And then you just take it and you're like, oh, the difference in your barbecue. And I'm like, how do you do that? I'm like, in awe of that.
Well, you know that I may have strengths, but you also know I have weaknesses. Owl's Nest Barbecue has no weaknesses. They have all of the chips that you need, the wood chips. They've got the pellets. They've got everything, the sauces and the rubs at Owl's Nest Barbecue. It is fantastic. You will love it. And right next door is Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. Steve Ray's Midnight Oil works on my car, should work on yours as well. So I want to get to some comments by John Adams. We visited yesterday. These are all podcasts with either John Adams, Josh Ward, or current players, Jacob Warren or Cooper Mays, that you can hear on offthehooksports.com, and more to come, we're excited to say. But John and I had the discussion the man and I had yesterday, and that was Joe Milton. Can you fix him? Let's remember, this is a guy who also lost the starting position of Michigan. So this is becoming a pattern. And the question is, the jumping out of bounds thing, is that one of those brain freezes that you just can't get by as a coach?
You can't have those. You can't have those. As a quarterback, you have to be calm and collected. You can't have a brain freeze.
Has anybody I was trying to think about this yesterday. Has anybody had just one? Okay, because like Tony Romo, for instance, first time he's in the playoffs, everything's going good. He's holding this extra point or the field goal attempt in the playoffs at Seattle. He flubs that up, and then he continues to flub up every playoff moment that he had. Okay, he just wasn't very good in the playoffs, and I think it was a mental thing. The one player I came up with in any sport that overcame a really, really bad flub up, like a Bill Buckner overcame it. He's a Hall of Famer, I believe, but he had a very solid career. But the one I came up with, I thought that was the best example, was Chris Webber. So you remember in the finals where he calls the timeout, but he went on to have a great career, and he's a Hall of Fame player. Now, part of the reason he's Hall of Fame is because they factor in basketball, they factor in college and what you are. But he's a Hall of Fame player. So he overcame that flub up.
But he didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't play again at Michigan, did he? Or did he go straight to the NBA?
Well, that was the last, that was the, the Fab Five. So that was their last game against Duke, and they got
and he went to the NBA after that.
Right, but had a very solid career, just didn't play for a championship.
But that's a different level. That's a different area. Like, you can't compare pro to college, because in the pros, he's not going to be the one making that call. You know what I'm saying?
It's fair. False Steak saying Juwan Jennings was pretty amazing also, because I was referring to the fact that Tennessee could have the best athletic duo of wide receivers in the nation, and Tillman and Brew McCoy. But yeah, Juwan Jennings had talent coming out of the ear holes of his helmet. He was fantastically talented.
Ear holes of his helmet.
Yes. The amazing part about Juwan Jennings is he had the total meltdown where he showed up to practice and said, I'm going to play quarterback instead of receiver for Vanderbilt this week, after he had been injured. And then he left, if you remember, with the social media cursing the coaching staff. And then the next coaching staff brought him back. That's how crazy Fall Steak and others that are listening, Tennessee football has been, and those are the things you don't have to deal with now. So you should be very happy. John Adams and I visited about one Joe Milton Jr., the third, and whether or not he can be an accurate quarterback ever again, I don't know. John Adams in the Knoxville News Sentinel. You can hear the entirety of this interview on offthehooksports.com. Much like in the weight room, I think you can go from 200 pounds to 300 pounds benching. I think you can go from good to better, but I don't know that you can ever be elite. I'm not trying to throw Joe Milton under the bus, but if he's the backup and Tennessee has to go in that direction, I still have very serious accuracy concerns because you can work on that all day long. But the bottom line is he's just not very accurate.
No, it's just like human behavior. You might not can completely change your core, but you can modify your behavior. And so Joe Milton can get a little more accurate, but he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be able to hit a receiver on the dead run. And see, I have more questions about him other than his accuracy. I mean, when he ran out of bounds against Ole Miss on the last play of the game last year, if I'm the coach, sorry, maybe a great guy, but I can't entrust a game to him anymore because that's not practice. You don't improve that with practice. That's decision making in the heat of battle. And I just don't think he had that. I mean, you look at Joe Milton, I think they need to get Tavian Jackson, the freshman, ready to be a quarterback in case Hendon Hooker goes down.
Yep. I think you and I kind of agree on that. They better have another option. I think we're both hoping that Hendon Hooker, because he's a great story, works everything out, but we have our doubts. Is that a good way of paraphrasing your thoughts and mine?
I mean, yeah, I didn't meet Hendon Hooker. I met Cedric Tillman and Trayvon Flowers, and I like both of them. But as far as like a story goes, I think Hendon Hooker has a good story, and so I hope for Vol fans' sake that this doesn't end up like a thing. Like this is a non-issue for the most part, just for the fans.
Let me make sure I understand. So we're talking about Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker. So we're
talking about Joe Milton, like
backing up Hendon Hooker. Excuse me.
Yes, I hope it's a non-issue. A backup for Hendon Hooker, I hope for Vol fans' sake, is a non-issue because you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that leader. So I hope it's a non-issue for them because Hendon Hooker seems like a good guy. Like I would wish nothing ill on him.
Zach wants us to do the Tennessee predictions on the upcoming season. Well, let's run through those real quick. Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. City Heat and Air, go to cityheatandair.com. And it's about integrity with City Heating and Air Conditioning. You're not going to get hey, I'll do a $29 service call. You are going to be absolutely taken care of at City Heating and Air. So as far as predictions for the upcoming season, I do have Tennessee at 9 wins. We talked about this yesterday. That was considered a best-case scenario by Saturday Down South. I don't think that's a best-case scenario. I think best-case scenario is 10, but I've got Tennessee winning 9 games this year. How about you?
Yeah, I have Tennessee doing a big upset in Georgia. I think they're going to beat Georgia. People think I'm insane, and that's fine. I just think losing almost an entire defense is going to leave you vulnerable. And if you have a quarterback like Hendon Hooker, if you have Squirrel White and Cedric Tillman and whoever else I'm missing, and Jabari Small apparently has gotten a lot bigger and stronger. If you have all of those elements, I don't think that, like I said before, I don't think going up against a depleted defense is going to be good for Georgia in that sense. And if I have to decide between Stetson Bennett and Hendon Hooker, I'm taking Hendon Hooker.
I have Tennessee winning 3 of the 4 swing games as I see them, which I don't think Pitt's a swing game. I think they win that one. So I think that out of the swing games would be LSU, Florida, South Carolina, and oh my goodness, who am I missing? Kentucky. So I think they go 3 or 4 in those. I think the rest of the season plays out, and it won't. But I think the rest of the season plays out, and right now, and I think Tennessee's a 9-win football team. Ball State saying Georgia's quarterback is screeched from Saved by the Bell. That, sir, is a good line. We will see you Monday at 9 o'clock with a lot of intriguing changes and exciting things about the show that we're going to start bringing you, including some monster guests on a weekly basis. So stay tuned. We will talk to you next week. And if there's part of this show that you want to hear, you just go back and listen to it. It's that cool. So she's Hottie LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I'm not going to call you that anymore because it feels awkward. And you're uber talented other than you happen to be a pretty. So that's fine. But it would be insulting just like me. Like if you just said you're handsome all the time and didn't bring up my incredible writing and show hosting ability, then that would hurt.
Or your dad jokes. But I know our guest that we're going to have every week is going to slay. They're going to slay the competition.
That's a hint. That's a hint. Do you want me to leave you? Do you want me to leave you with a dad joke?
No. I have plenty of those. I have them. I bought my husband a book of dad jokes.
Can't
he
beat
loves
them.
the dad jokes.
Can't beat them. She's Amanda LaFratta. I'm Dave Hooker. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll have coverage on offthehooksports.com about the Vols throughout the weekend. And see, this guy loves dad jokes. And we just got posted. Okay. You do that. From now on, that's my gig. You get to say so quick, but today, step in there. Give me a dad joke, Mom.
It's a very bad one, and I'm not a mom, but I actually bought this shirt for my husband. It's what is a dentist's favorite time of day?
What is a dentist's favorite time of day? Depends whether or not he's an anti-dentite. I don't know. What is it?
What?
Seinfeld reference. Go ahead.
It's tooth hurdy.
Have a fantastic day, everyone. A presentation of Off the Hook Sports.